Okay, so let's take a moment or two and look at belief systems. Looking at popular culture, what is embraced within popular culture, is it mostly belief or is it knowing? Well, it's mostly believing. It's usually taking something from somebody else and embracing it, not questioning it, not putting it to test, not looking to find your own experience independently. It's just embracing an overall indoctrination, pretty much. So let's take a look at some examples here. Let's begin with DMT and the so called production of DMT within the pineal gland. Now, scientifically, we know that the pineal gland releases hormones such as melatonin, right? And we can see that in relationship to how the body functions and the body clock, right? So on and so forth. But because of a particular book that was put out in 2000 by a clinical psychiatrist called The Spirit Molecule, all of a sudden this concept of DMT being produced within the pineal gland was accepted within popular culture and embraced as being fact. Now, is this a fact? No, it's not. Is there scientific evidence that substantiate it as being a fact? No, 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 there isn't. I've heard people lecture on this. I heard people talk about, well, it's released when we're in dream state and all this other stuff. And it's like, how are you able to determine that? I have not seen any evidence for this whatsoever. Okay? But it's received and it's spoken about. And then you have people with high sounding tones in their voice and convincing manners of speech, and using 50-cent words in order to convince people what they're communicating. But is it the truth? Is it something that we can truly test and retest over and over again and get the same results? The answer to that is unsubstantiated. At least that's what I see. However, is it that important? Well, now we're going to go back again to the very beginning. Belief systems versus knowing. My personal experiences in regard to DMT is none. None. And as a drug, which all things have a vibration to it, therefore has a conscious level to it, a consciousness to it. Because why? We are in a source consciousness field. Everything is made up of the same substance, the same building blocks, which is conscious awareness. It's all conscious. Therefore, it has a certain vibration to it. And when you take any substance, whether it's food or whatever it is, you're ingesting into you and you're taking on that consciousness, that vibration. So when people take DMT as a drug, a lot of them have a very similar experience with it. They see fractals, they run into different so-called entities that are very similar or the same. Well, let me say something about that briefly, which is very important to understand. You are not the body. However, you interface with this body into a reality field. This is how you are able to experience self differently. It is a reality field, meaning that your experience is real. Your interface is the body, that you now become the hologram. You enter into the hologram by becoming the hologram and interfacing with the vessel. So, that in mind, understand that there is a blueprint that allows for you to be able to interface within the hologram. That blueprint is called the holographic template, your manifest template. And everything is on a subconscious level. If you were to look at the structure, it is a crystalline structure. The reason why I know this is not because somebody told me it, is because I understand this universal structure as being harmonic. and I understand enough about the harmonic structure to know what it looks like geometrically and how it functions on the level of that geometry. Okay? So your manifest template is a crystalline structure. Now, when you take substances like this that forces you out of the body, yet you're still connected to the body because this is your interface, but it will force you out of the body consciously. Number one, that is creating fracture within that crystalline structure or your manifest template, which is damaging it. And the other thing should be the obvious thing, is that it increases the distortion level within this harmonic structure. So what you're perceiving and the way that you're perceiving it is based on that vibration of that chemical substance. So people think that they're expanding their consciousness when they're doing this, and the truth is you're not. You're distorting your awareness within it, and you're creating damage to your manifest template. There's enough compromise here to begin with without making it worse. But that's what we do, and we accept it as being normal, or it's okay to do that. It's because we don't know. We don't truly know. We just believe. Are you following with what I'm saying? So it's important to know, not to regurgitate what other people are telling you just because they sound like they're authority on the subject. That's fine for them to know, if they know, but if you don't know, you're just believing, and then you're following them. Don't follow anybody, follow yourself. And be honest and truthful with yourself. Don't just leave it at, which I hear a lot of people do, don't just leave it at, well, I just don't know. Well, okay, what's the next step? Do you want to know? And some people just don't want to know. And that's fine. That's fine too. But don't confuse the two, is what I'm saying. Either you know or you don't. Give honor where honor's due, okay? But know things for yourself and let it be a natural process for you. Don't force yourself to know it. Either you connect with it or you don't. But here's the thing about that. Let me just say this and I'll be done with it. Early on within my process, I was in Christianity for 27 years. I had gone through a lot of things, most things I could never even tell anybody about as far as what I experienced, especially when I was bedridden the first time. But it's been a process for me. I had to revisit thoughts. I had to revisit things that came my way only because I wasn't able to receive what it really was at the time that it came to me. So I had to put it on a shelf, and then I had to come back to it, in some cases years later. You see what I'm saying? This is a process. So when you question things in order to know things for yourself, it's important not to throw stones at anybody. All right? We are programming ourselves all the time in one shape, form, or the other, within our activity, within our thoughts, within our intention. Intention is being consciously aware as well as being unconsciously aware. This is going on all the time. So it is a process. You don't have to give any excuses for it. You don't have to defend yourself. Just be. All right, folks. Talk to you later.